Assalamu alaikum. Welcome in activity 4, renewal of cells and maintenance of their characteristics. At the end of this video, you will be able to notice that most cells have a limited lifespan, notice that most cells are permanently renewed, explain how the skin's epidermis renews itself, deduce that the renewal of cells depends on the existence of stem cells, and finally explain why the bone marrow stem cells are considered as pluripotential. Make sure to prepare the extra worksheet and your pencil case. This is a body cell, having lots of important functions to do for you to stay healthy and strong. However, will this cell remain as strong as it is and remain in your body from your birth to death? Or does it have a limited lifespan and eventually die in a short time? To find the correct answer, let's study some blood cells found in your bloodstream, such as the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and the blood platelets. The three cells have separate functions. Do you know the function of each of these three blood cells? You should know by now that the red blood cells are responsible for transport of carbon dioxide and oxygen. The white blood cells are responsible for phagocytosis and immunity, while blood platelets are responsible for blood clotting or closing the site of injury. Now, what do you notice here? All three cells are blood cells. However, all three cells have different separate functions. Each one of them have a specific function and have a specific structure according to their function. For example, the structure of blood platelets makes it easier for them to pile one on the other and close this site of injury. For these two reasons, having special function and special structure, we call these cells specialized cells. However, the problem here is that those specialized cells cannot undergo cell division or mitosis to be renewed. Now, is this a real problem? Let's see by studying the lifespan of blood cells. Pause the video and think about the lifespan of each blood cell. Is their lifespan infinite? Will they stay always alive, or do they have a definite lifespan? Will they die after a certain time? Now, after thinking about their lifespan, you will see that the red blood cells will stay for about 125 days, while the white blood cells for 1 to 2 weeks, and the blood platelets will die after 12 days. Going back to the introduction, if you said that those body cells have a limited lifespan, you are correct. So, the blood cells have a limited lifespan. Their lifespan is not infinite, they will die after a certain time. However, your body cells must be renewed to maintain our existence. You cannot possibly live without these blood cells. So they must be renewed. How are they renewed? How does your body solve this problem? Given the following document that shows how blood cells are renewed. This document represents white blood cells that are the lymphocytes, the eosinophil, the basophil, the monocytes, and the neutrophil. The erythrocytes represent the red blood cells, and here are the blood platelets. So how are all these cells renewed? Where do they come from? Follow the arrows backwards to find the origin of these cells. Now, after following the arrows, you can find that all these cells come from one cell called a stem cell. So, how are these cells renewed, or where do they come from? They come from one cell called stem cell. By definition, stem cells are unspecialized cells. Unspecialized because they do not have any special function or special structure. They're not responsible for body's immunity like the white blood cells. They do not exchange gases like erythrocytes. In short, their job is only to differentiate into specialized cells. Their job is to become those other cells or to renew them. To simplify the idea, you can think of this stem cell as a baby cell with no function. Its function is only to grow up in order to become or to have a special role. And this is the first difference between the stem cell and the specialized cell. However, there's another important difference. Remember, what was the problem concerning those specialized cells? The problem was they cannot renew themselves. They cannot undergo mitosis. However, looking at a stem cell, can it undergo mitosis? Yes, looking here, each cell can undergo cellular division or divide to different cells. So this cell, a stem cell, can undergo mitosis. In general, stem cells are unspecialized cells able to undergo mitosis and to differentiate into specialized cells. Hope that makes some sense. Looking back at the document, you can see that this cell is pluripotential bone marrow stem cell. So what is a bone marrow? Bone marrow is a tissue found inside long bones of your body, such as the bone of your thigh or the bone here in your hand. This bone marrow contains those blood stem cells. So this structure or this document is happening inside the bone marrow of your body. We still have one term to explain, pluripotential. Here we have two terms to compare, pluripotent and unipotent. So what's the difference? Stem cells are said to be pluripotent when they can differentiate or give more than one type of specialized cells. Stem cells are said to be unipotent if they can differentiate into one type of specialized cells. So the difference here is in just one word. Pluripotent gives many cells, while unipotent gives only one cell. Let's recall here the bone marrow stem cells. Are those bone marrow stem cells unipotent or pluripotent? Bone marrow stem cells are pluripotent because they are able to differentiate in many types of specialized cells. Remember, bone marrow stem cell is one cell that can give different cells, red blood cells, white blood cells, a total of 8 cells. So there are more than one type of specialized cell, so it's pluripotent. Let's study another case here, the epidermal stem cells, or the skin cells. Looking at this document, it shows the different layers of your skin, starting from the lower basal layer to the cornified layer, the upper layer, the outer layer that you can see. In the basal layer downwards here, you can say cells undergo mitosis. And the cell that undergo mitosis is of course a stem cell. So in the basal layer, you have epidermal stem cell. From the epidermal stem cells in the basal layer going up, you find cells called keratinocytes at the mid layer of the skin. And going up to the cornified layer, you find here dead cells. Going back to the definition of pluripotent and unipotent, remember them carefully. Are these epidermal stem cells pluripotent or unipotent? Epidermal stem cells are of course unipotent because they differentiate into only one cell, one type of cell, the epidermal cell, your skin cell. For our final scenario here, let's see how stem cells are used in the medical domain. In order to do so, let's study skin burn and epidermal stem cells. You know that we have 3 types of skin burn, the 1st degree burn, the 2nd degree, and the 3rd degree. The most dangerous burn that needs surgery is the 3rd degree burn, where the burn had reached basal layer of the skin. Stem cells here are burned or damaged. They cannot renew the skin by themselves. Doctors here attempt to remove healthy epidermal stem cells and graft them in the site of burn. What will happen here is that those stem cells will be found again in the basal layer and will undergo mitosis, then the site of injury will be healed. Stem cells are the best cells you can have in your body because those stem cells are undifferentiated. Their job is to give those specialized cells that are so important for you to live. The second difference is that specialized cells do not undergo mitosis, however stem cells can undergo mitosis. How great they are! You also learned that pluripotent stem cells can differentiate to more than one cell, while unipotent stem cells can differentiate to only one type of specialized cells. As an assignment, make sure to study the summary sheet and to solve and correct the extra worksheet. This video is prepared and recorded by teacher Zahra Shari, supervised by teacher Ihsan Hassan. Thank you for your time.